Hello, and welcome back to episode 6 of Deep Pulls. We are well on the way to our 69 consecutive episodes to start this season. And yesterday, in episode 5, we encountered Time Spiral Remastered. But today, we're going to take another throwback trip, of course, to the Guilds of Ravnica set. This is the third visit Magic has made to Ravnica, the large city plane, and the guilds contained within. So let's go ahead and open this, and we'll try to learn as much as we can and have some fun along the way. Okay, first things first, we've got a 10th District Guard, kind of an unremarkable 2/2 with a little bonus here. I think it's kind of funny, actually, when I look at this. I compared this to Veteran Armorer, which was a 2/2 for 1 and a white, also in that same set, but that gave all of your other creatures +0/+1 as a continuous effect. And this one only does it on ETB for 1 creature. So a bit of a drag, and it doesn't really have any cool guildness to kind of offset that. We are looking at a Leapfrog. Leapfrog, to me, another cool card for kind of instant sorceries, which is what the Izzet is known for. Izzet is one of the guilds in this particular set. The thing I think is interesting is that this is not a triggered ability. This is just a kind of overall, if you've played it, it has flying. That was done a lot when Arena started being implemented as a way to kind of cut down on triggers and make the gameplay go a little quicker. Next things next, we've got here, Never Happened. So Never Happened, I almost forgot about it as if it never happened. One in the endless iterations of coercion effects. Coercion was originally from the Vision set. It was 2 and a black. You got to look at that player's hand and just take a card out of it, of your choice. They've iterated on that a lot. Usually there is some other small upside, and sometimes accompanied by the non-land part of it as well. So this one you can see, you get to actually look into their graveyard and grab stuff as well, as part of the kind of upside there. Here we've got Crushing Canopy, a modal spell in regards to destroying flyers, kind of the flyer destroying green common in the set. I think this is really cute compared to Return to the Earth, which was, I believe, in the 3rd Thorough set, Journey into Nyx, which was 3 and a green, gave you these options, and also an artifact. And in 2 of the last standard sets, Kaldheim and Zendikar Rising, they just printed Broken Wings, which is this, but also just adds Destroy an Artifact for absolutely nothing. So a bit of a, they always do little versions of this. They've definitely outclassed it before, so there you go. Hypothesizzle, a cute little card here with the weird little timing. For me, my immediate thought is Ribbons of Night, which was a Dimir card in original Ravnica. Had kind of a same-ish effect. It was a 4 and a black card that dealt 4 damage to a creature. And if you had paid blue on that one, basically making it 3, a black and a blue, you got to draw a card. This one does not. This one has the little kind of like looting thing where like you draw a 2 and then discard a non-creature. Whereas Ribbons of Night let you gain 4 life. So a very interesting card here as well. Prey Upon. Prey Upon is kind of the de facto default fight spell that, again, is kind of the basis that they iterate on all the time. Originally in Innistrad, the first Innistrad set, and this is just Prey Upon. It's just the fight card. It's just the fight effect, and everything they've done since then is just usually a little upsides on this, but they're all based on this thing. Hammer Dropper. Cool little 5/2. I like the weird stats. I always like cards with weird stats like this. A 5/2 mentor for 2 red and a white. Nothing particularly remarkable in terms of references. He's a giant soldier, so he has a big hammer, I guess. There you go. Dimir Locket. Oh, how Ravnica and so many sets have tried to make these 2-color artifacts. Originally, Dimir and all the other guilds in the original Ravnica block had the Signets. Extremely popular, been reprinted a bunch, played a lot in Commander. 2 mana rocks, pay 1 tap, you add each of the 2 colors. They've been changed to There's talismans. I guess the allied color talismans probably came before the sickness now that I think about it. But in the other Ravnica sets, we've had clue stones, which had like a 2-mana tap sack. These are 4 hybrid mana tap sack to draw 2. They've done, I think, key runes, which are 3-mana artifacts to tap for each color, but they also have an upside of turning into a creature. So this is just another mana fixing, but they've done so many different versions of these. In Ravnica alone, this is like the 4th kind of guild artifact fixing cycle they've done. We've got a Luminous Bonds here. This is just straight up pacifism. Same effect as pacifism. Costs 1 more. We've seen in a lot of these sets, this kind of effect is always done. This sort of 3 or 4 mana stops a creature from attacking and blocking. Sometimes it stops more stuff. Sometimes it stops the creature from doing more stuff. So it just kind of goes all over the place. But this is kind of as basic as it gets, I guess, other than pacifism. Candlelight Vigil, a big aura here, 3/2 plus 3/2 in Vigilance for 4. It's interesting to think about Ravnica, the original Ravnica set, because that set actually had a pretty strong aura sub-theme. It had a few cards that cared about returning auras, getting them out of your deck. They had a cycle of auras in that set that had ETB effects. So interesting just to see cool, interesting auras in the Ravnica set, because they do have a bit of a history there. We've got here Golgari Raiders with the Undergrowth ability from Golgari. Golgaris, this is their 3rd ability that they've had. Some of the other guilds have only gotten 2 because they've reused them, but this is the 3rd Golgari ability, and that iterates on top of Dredge, which was very interesting as a mechanic, because it eventually became sort of a busted deck because you could manipulate so much of your library into your graveyard for no mana. And this does play really well with that. A lot of these guild keywords and guild cards in general are designed to play well throughout the entirety of the guild's history in the 3 Ravnica blocks. In fact, they actually, with this set, decided to make some guild decks where they actually combine cards from all 3 of the Ravnica blocks to make little 60-card decks. So a card here that would play really well with Dredge. Dredge just puts a lot of cards into your graveyard with absolutely no mana investment, just skipping a card draw, and then you eventually get to cast a 4-mana haste, 8/8, 9/9, 7/7, pretty big. We Dragonauts. We actually have discussed this one recently. We saw a kind of upgraded version of this in Numara Mystic, which was almost the exact same card, minus like the creature types and such, but got the +2/+0 bonus when you also cast a wizard spell. So this is funny to see this here after we talked about that card. I do want to emphasize, We Dragonauts was printed in Guild Pact with this exact same art at common. So this is weird that it's a rarity upgrade, and also it kept its same art, 8 years apart, 9 years apart. I guess I'm thinking Guild Pack would have been 06, I think, like early 06. Yeah, it would have been like the first set of 2006, and then of course we got this, I think, in the end of 2018, so that's about 12 and a half years of just this being a real solid card. Golgari Find Broker. Interesting little subset here with the 4 colored mana symbols evenly split across the 2 colors. This was a cycle that was in both Guild of Ravnica and the next set's Ravnica Allegiance. Plays a little bit of graveyard stuff. Again, we talked about how the intention is that all these cards sort of play with the guild mechanics of the past. Here is our rare. Ooh, there it is. Dawn of Hope. Dawn of Hope, a fun little life gain card draw thing. It's so interesting. We keep seeing these same themes come up when you look back at Magic's history. Here's a card draw engine in white, which a color that doesn't really get card draw engines, but of course it's tied to life gain. So it's an interesting life gain card. Kind of feeds itself, as you can see, because you can make the 1/1 lifelink tokens. But we're interested to see, do we get more effects like this as Magic continues to grow and players have demanded that white really gets more card draws, especially in Commander formats. And our land of the pack, replacing the basic in this set, is the Dimir Guildgate. Dimir Guildgate is We talked about with the Dimir, this has been a really Dimir heavy pack actually. We talked about with Dimir Locket how much they've iterated on those certain themes as well with like the artifacts. Here's kind of them iterating on the lands. So the original common land cycle in Ravnica were the Kerus. Basically, common lands enter the battlefield tapped, and when they enter the battlefield, you had to return another land from the battlefield to your hand, and those in return got to tap for both of the guild colors at once. So in the case, the Dimir Aqueduct would have tapped for black and blue. So they eventually made these in the second Ravnica block, kept them going in this one, and kind of upped the gate synergies as well. But this is very another common. We've seen Ice Tunnel already, a very common thing to iterate on. These enter the battlefield tapped lands that tap for 2 colors and then also have an additional upside beyond just the tapping. In this case, it's Gates, which has some synergy. Not as much in this set, a lot more in Ravnica Allegiance. And finally, we've got a token, a 2/2 Elf Warrior. A few cards in the set made this. My favorite is probably Conclave. It's the green, white, 4/4 that when it dies, it makes 2 of these. Just kind of a cool, fun card. So I actually quite enjoyed a lot of the cool cards we see here. It felt like we had kind of a Dimir heavy pack. Looking back, I guess it's not that case. We got a lot of cool Golgari stuff as well. But let me know in the comments, what is your favorite guild from the Ravnica plane? We've got 10 in total, and I'd love to hear what you think. I myself have probably always been, I know in this format in particular, I really got into the Golgari. I really liked the way that they gave a lot of benefit to just playing little tiny creatures. You kind of didn't care how good the creatures were as long as you were playing like 18, 19, 20 of them in a draft deck, which is really a change from a lot of other guild strategies. So I would say in this block, this was my favorite. Well, please let me know again in the comments what you think, and also feel free to like and share. I appreciate you spending your time with me here today, and we hope to see you again tomorrow for episode 7 of Deep Pulls. Thanks so much.